This morning, we are talking about the very latest tech buys, but more specifically, what tech companies like Google are putting in their own shopping cart. And joining us this morning, our techspert, Dan Thompson from Claris Networks. How you doing, Dan?
I'm doing great, thank you.
All right, let's talk about this whole Google thing. Yesterday, they announced it was buying Motorola Mobility for like 12-point-something billion. What does this mean?
Yeah, so, well, this is a big deal in the technology community, and the reason why that is, so up until this point, Google has supplied the operating system for the Android phones, and they have had very little influence over the devices themselves. So, like, if we walked into a Verizon store, you're going to see phones manufactured from Motorola, HTC, Samsung, and a whole slew of other things, and varying degrees of quality and functions along the way. On the other hand, if you look at Apple and the way they do business, if we were to walk in the Apple store, you've got the iPhone.
Yeah.
Now, you may have some options like how much memory, and do you want this generation or do you want the older generation, but an iPhone is an iPhone. So what Google has positioned itself to do here is be able to present the phone itself as well as the operating system. So now they'll have direct control over you know, where this product is going, the type of features that are available, and they can hopefully start to brand this as an Android phone and not just an HTC Android phone or Motorola Android phone.
Why Motorola?
You know, that's a good question. Motorola actually owns something in the order of 17,000 patents. They are arguably one of the more popular phones in the space. We do work very closely with them on that Zoom tablet that I had in here a couple months ago. So don't know all of the details of how this came about, but I would assume it's just because they're a market leader. Obviously, Google has the cash to spend, so they buy the best.
All right, so what are the main benefits for the consumer?
You know, I think what we'll see out of this, you know, again, in the Android market, the phones have kind of gotten a little stagnant.
Yeah.
In that, you know, if you have a phone that you bought a year ago, there's not really these huge compelling reasons to upgrade, except for like things like the 4G LTE networks. Things like that you'd want to upgrade for. But the new specs and things like that just aren't all that exciting. And I think what we'll see Google do is start to drive innovation in this space. They're going to start to make these phones and tablets more exciting, add features that actually people will use. And then again, I think you're going to see this whole space become more open. One of the things that Motorola was kind of known for was having their phones sort of locked down. You didn't quite have the freedom with them as you did some of the other phones. I'm hoping right off the bat we'll see a philosophical change in that arena to where these phones are more open. We know that Google likes to have an open source product, and they like the community to be able to share with each other.
It's going to be interesting, isn't it?
It absolutely will.
With the iPhone and all this stuff. I mean, Google's made some real big buys here lately and changes.
Yeah, and they're obviously not afraid to spend money. And the neat thing about Google is they're not afraid to fail either. If you look at some of the experiments they've done in the social media space lately, they encourage their employees to try new things. If it doesn't work, hey, no big deal, let's try something else.
Yeah. Hey, always great having you in.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thanks, Dan. More 10 News today coming up right after this. Hope you stay with us.